And look who's back. This is going to be kind of an install project video. I haven't made one of those in a while. I'm not counting the Hope grips on the Model 360 thing. And this video is going to be taken over the course of a few days in my spare time, and also because I got to study up how to do it myself, so I can make some type of clear, concise narrative. So you'll see different lighting, different angles, and probably different shirts. Although I'm wearing this type of crap all the time. It seems that's because I only have time to do this stuff on the weekends, and I'm usually either coming or from or going to the gym. So that was the case today, and I realized let me start doing the preliminary intro. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be installing this on my Sig 365, the flat trigger. I didn't even know one of these existed. I know there's always flat triggers and accessories for these guns, but Sig actually sent me an email with an actual factory part for a flat trigger. It's in here, and I like flat triggers. If there's one regret or one thing I miss about that shield that I traded in was that I had an Apex trigger kit installed, and I like the flat triggers. I like flat triggers on semi-autos. So when I went to the Sig, although the Sig 365 trigger, as I mentioned, is a great trigger, and the gun shoots great, and it's still kicking out rounds. It's still good, and I love it. That curved trigger thing, I don't even have the gun with me. I'm just popping this together. That curved trigger thing, although good, it's not my favorite. I personally don't care if this lowers the trigger pull weight because that trigger is actually kind of too light for me anyway. But I'm looking for a better feel to the trigger, or an even better feel to the trigger, I should say, because it's a great feeling trigger. And I'm just looking for that, if it improves accuracy. You know, it's not some of my other nightstand thing. All my semi-autos, I'm kind of going left with them, revolvers are going right. Maybe it might have something to do with trigger. Maybe I'm just an idiot. But I guess we're going to see how that goes. So what we're going to do after this, probably I'll get back to this video by next weekend. What we're going to do is we're going to open up this bag, and I'm going to pull my gun, my 365 apart, break it down, get into that fire control unit thing, pull all the pieces off of it, and you could all laugh at me while I struggle through this. Probably lots of cursing, lots of cutaways. So we'll see how it goes. Let's cut to the job. Okay, well, here goes nothing. Prepare to laugh along with me. From what I've seen on the internet, there's a couple of ways to do this. One of them, well, let's get this apart first. We're all good here. So let's rotate that down, take that off. We'll let that one sit right there and wait for us. Which brings us here. We have to get the what is it? The fire control unit, trigger control unit, whatever it is. Apparently, it's this pin right here, which fortunately is the old Glock tool. Now they say you don't hammer this. This should actually just kind of push through. It's a little bit of yeah, sure as hell is spring loaded. This pin could come right out, nice and greasy. In fact, I should lay some stuff down so I don't get murdered by the wife for dirtying up her table runner. So here we go. So that pin is out, and then from there we should be able to lift up. Lifts up very easily, comes out. Here we have our frame, or wow, these are very lightweight. And here's our trigger group here. Like I said, now I've seen a couple of versions of this. One where you don't remove the slide stop, and one where you do. And of the ones that I've seen, I kind of like the ones where, I like the one where the guy actually takes this out. It seems like it's much easier when it comes time to get it back in. So with that in mind, it has to pull out. And that pulls it very easy. There's a little spring here on the bottom that's keeping this in. Now I should be able to just get this spring out. And there's my spring. I'm gonna leave that in there. Now to get it in, this bad boy is gonna have to kind of hook up and back under that. But, shouldn't be so tough. Now, as I also understand this thing is kind of meant to come apart. You kind of have to take all of it apart. And to get to what we really want to get to is you want to get on this side to get this trigger out. Okay, and you would think you would just be able to knock that pin out and pull it out, but that's just crazy talk there. You have to take the whole goddamn gun up. You have to take the whole goddamn unit apart to do it. What we're going to do next is we're going to get this bar out. Okay, now to do that, oh, look at that. Wow, the internet is a little bit different. You see up here, everything I see on the internet, this little pin is silver in color. Now it appears to be black in color, I guess only to confuse me and to make it even more difficult. We're gonna wanna get this bar out here, but in order to do that, you're gonna have to back this pin out a little bit. Not all the way, because if you do, then this little guy, right, see this little guy right here? This little guy right here comes flying out, and then you gotta pull this plate off, and then you're all unhappy and pissy. But I think I'm gonna try and get this out just a little bit, just a scotch, just so I can get this bad boy out just a little bit. Ah, your mother. Wait, maybe I can do it. Maybe I can. Oh, it's so close. I really don't want to lose that thing. And the guy said as long as it's flush, you should be okay. But before I do that, before I make my life very difficult, I'm gonna make a break in the action, confer with the interweb again. Okay, so as I was playing with it, I moved that pin out just a little bit more, but you notice I didn't lose my follower, and I was able to just kind of bend it over this hump here, over this hump, and this thing fits into a little groove. This little head here fits into a little groove there. Okay, so let's put that in there. Now we're kind of freewheel. This bad boy comes right out. Let's put him over there. Now the next thing, according to the interweb, is my trigger spring. So what I'm gonna do is, you see how it hooks? I think this thing here is where, I remember some of the initial problems with this gun, that you were getting that scratch mark on the magazine. Well, this would have been the end that stuck out too far. I guess it's because this is where the magazine goes in. So what I can see, what I'm gonna do here, besides launch this fucking spring across my kitchen, is I'm gonna push in here. I'm gonna try and push in there if I could. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna push in there. Oh no, this is gonna launch itself. Hook it, oh no, look at that. And there you go. Now this thing should only go in one way, and it looks like both sides are the same size. So putting it in reverse shouldn't make it stand out. It's where it's gonna scratch my magazine. Okay, and I said there'd be numerous cutaways. That's one because I have to rub my eyes. My hands are full of grease. Okay, so what we got here, according to the interweb, is we got a little pinhole and a pin on the other side. So that pin obviously has to come out. Is this gonna be small enough? Of course not gonna be small enough. I'm gonna have to go for a paper clip. Is that what you're telling me? I sure am. Okay, boys and girls. Stand by while I go get a paper clip. All right, my search for paper clip was fruitless. However, I realized it is Christmas. We're around Christmas time, so this ought to work for me. I hope. Maybe not. Oh no, these pins push out very easy. Okay, so another pin pops right out. Let me throw this back on the tree. Okay, the tree is whole again. Now that that pin is out, we're really kind of freewheeling here. We could take this out and bend this out around. That trigger bar goes away. And now finally, it's gonna be a miracle if I can put this back together again. Finally, my trigger comes out. Oh, apparently it hooks in, okay. You getting that? Maybe, kind of. Hooks in, yeah, okay, hooks in, gotcha. Okay, well here's my curved trigger, and not a lot of grease in there. However, I am gonna put a little bit of grease on the new flat trigger before I reinstall. So let me get that. I'm gonna take this opportunity to wipe this bad boy down a little bit, and not a lot of grease at all, but I'm gonna put a little dab of grease on a trigger bar for the new trigger, and take some time to clean this whole thing off, or clean this thing well off camera. But when I come back, flat trigger time. And we're back. Okay. And now our OEM flat trigger from Sig Sauer. Let's open her up and see what we got. What comes in the package, as they say. Well, okay. New trigger spring. I wonder why that is. A new pin for the trigger and the actual flat trigger itself. Now I'm going to install the new trigger spring. I hope it doesn't make it. See, I'm not installing this trigger to make it lighter. I think, shut up. Just eat this fucking dog. I'm installing this trigger just because I like flat triggers. I'm not looking to make this very light trigger even lighter. But I guess we'll see what happens. I'm going to include the parts that are in the box. So let's put this thing back together, at least try to. There's gonna be lots of cutaways on this one because I'm sure this is gonna take me all night to do. But through the magic of video, it's only gonna be a few minutes, I hope. All right, reassembly time. And here's the one last look at both triggers. I mean, they're both Sig parts, so I expect an easy enough time of this, or at least, you know, everything should fit. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to start this off by doing that. Kind of going to the rearward position a little bit, if that makes any sense. Gonna try and sneak this trigger bar back on it. I mean, I don't know why I can't, this might be my first cutaway. Hey, wait, that might have been it. Sneak it around. This is not riveting video, and I might actually cut it away because I can't see a goddamn thing. Wait. That might have got it. Okay. That goes around there. Oh, I see, said the blind man to his deaf daughter. Okay, so that's in. Now I'm going to take the new pin that they gave me. Again, I wonder why they gave me a new pin. And it came out so easily. I'd hate to tap it in, but I think I may. It's in, it's kind of in. Nope. What if it has to go more rearward? It's just a question of lining it up. Why does it seem like this pin doesn't even fit in here? Okay. First cutaway, it doesn't seem like that pin is the same size as the other one. Okay, cutaway number one. But this pin that came with the trigger, it was too big. It's like the diameter is wrong. I put the original pin back in, it slid right in. I mean, literally, it just about fell right in. So that's something to keep in mind. I don't know exactly what Sig was shooting for with that fucking little tidbit. Maybe one of you guys can let me know. This thing was simply too big. It couldn't even get into the damn hole. Whereas the old pin slid right in. Okay, something to keep in mind. I wonder what mysteries this new trigger spring is going to give me. Okay, so we're back in there. Now, the next my next trick, I'm going to put this spring. Before I do this, let's make sure I don't make an ass out of myself. They look kind of exactly the same, right? Okay. Here goes nothing, folks. let's put that end. This is going to fit in there, like so. It kind of goes in there, hooks around. Now it seems like I should just be able to kind of do this with my thumb. Right, to hook into, oh geez, I gotta put a net. I'm gonna try. I'll break a nail, that's for sure, but you know. I know I'm not in the hole. Oh, there you go. Okay. Okay, that snapped in pretty easily. I want to say we're in the home stretch, but not quite sure. I'm not ready to do that yet because although there are only a few parts left, I'm not entirely sure how I got this fucking thing out in the first place. So we're gonna have to, I'll do another cutaway here, but you know, we're kind of getting there, you know? But in any case, I'm actually not that dirty. And that's going to be the whole break, seriously. Okay, I'll do another cutaway, and hopefully this is going to come together without any more cursing. Although I don't think I curse that much now. Okay, so we'll put our takedown pin in first. This kind of wants to be in kind of at that angle, around 7 o'clock. That's what they say, but no, not particularly, because in the wrong. You see, there's a relationship to this thing on the back here. It's gonna have to kind of fit. No. There you go. It is, you do have to kind of drop it in at 7, but then immediately rotate it around so it goes in that thing so your trigger can actually move. Okay, and here's our little groove. Remember that this is gonna have to fit in. I know, I'm sorry about that, the poor lighting. This knob is gonna have to fit into that groove right there. But first, in order to do that, I gotta sneak this end around this pin that I so carefully didn't pull out all the way. And this might be one. Now I'm gonna have to get it in there. You can see there's a way it goes in there, but in order for me to hold it in front of the camera so you can see it, I can't fucking see it. So I'm gonna have to, oh wait, did I just fucking do it? I might have just done it. No, I couldn't do it because I don't interfere with the magazine. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut away because I can't see what I'm doing to hold it in front of the camera. So let me pull it to my eyes, and when I'm done, I'll show it to you. Okay, just to show you I'm not having someone else do it. You drop it in, obviously, so it doesn't interfere with the magazine at all. And you see how it's tucked in there nicely around that pin. I'm not gonna push that pin all the way in yet because now I have to do that part where this tooth thing locks underneath that. And what you kind of have to do is you're gonna have to torque it a little bit to get it around that nub right there. Can you see? See that little indentation, that nub? It has to kind of torque around that where this tooth can fit underneath and tuck into that bar. And again, this might be one of those things where we're gonna have to do it off camera because to hold it where you're seeing it, I can't see jack shit. So, you know, stand by. Okay, I wish I could have shown that on video, but it was impossible. See, basically what I did was, you have to keep this, let me push this pin in so I don't lose everything and then really curse. Now we're all locked together and reassembled, almost. I wish I could say that, you see, everything's interconnected. And that little tooth that was on this had to fit underneath here, but this wouldn't go in unless it would spun all the way forward to almost to the 7 o'clock position where that gap was out of reach. So I kind of had to do a situation where, because you see how this thing rides on this little piece right here? Dog, shut up. Hate that dog. What I had to do was kind of do a little bit, I'm sure there's someone could do it much better than me. I do a little bit of both where I kind of put this piece in here without pushing the pin in, yet I put it over this lip here while torquing the front down while I can get this thing in and then back so that it reaches into there. It was mild cursing, But it went in, and now everything seems to work. My trigger works, everything's good. There's my, you know, the takedown lever in relationship to the trigger on that side. There's that. Okay, there's gonna be my trigger. Okay, I like flat triggers. Now the last piece, let me wipe this down. The last comedy, before I put this thing together, is going to be putting the, more parts? No more parts. Oh, except for the pin to put the group back in. Is going to be putting this in. Now remember, when I took this out, this little spring here kind of snapped down on me, which is fine. Now when I put this back in, I'm gonna need to, what's the top? This is the top. I'm gonna need to kind of see this little guy right here. I'm gonna need to get him underneath that piece and snap it in. Hopefully I could do this on camera. This isn't much of an instructional video if everything's done off camera, but the thing is, I can't see shit. And again, I can't see shit. So what I'm gonna do is that little piece, I'm gonna kind of ride underneath that and push it up as I push it through the hole. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it on camera though, because I'm goddamn blind. Let me. Yeah, I'm sorry guys. I'm gonna do this off camera close to my eyes. Okay, and again, not much of an instructional video, but you know, who the hell am I? What I did was, I used a flat edge of a knife, and I was able to get it underneath that spring to lift it up while I pushed the little thing, this little knob through. And you see that bar, you probably can't see it, but the spring sits on top of it. So you got the spring action, pushing it down. Here's your takedown lever there. Your trigger groups back together. Now I'm going to drop this back into my frame. And hopefully this thing is actually in one piece, but I guess we'll see. Here's my frame. Now as I understand, this might have to go forward. It goes in this way and drops in. Holy shit. It sure does. Right? That goes forward, okay. That goes forward, I said. Really doesn't have to. But let's get this pin back in. It looks like the pin can go in from either way, but seeing as how I pushed it out that way, let's see if I can get it in that way. Easy enough, easy enough. The pin should snap in, and it does, because it's spring captured. All right, that goes forward. How my rails look? My rails look fairly lubricated. I'll take it down again before I actually shoot it. On, there. Okay. Let me clean all this up and I'll get back in front of the camera and we'll talk about what we just experienced together. So wasn't that just a thin slice of heaven? I'm sorry for the quality of that quote-unquote instructional video. I have, again, limited, this is kind of a hobby for me, and I should have like a GoPro thing, but in order to do the intricate parts, and this is kind of intricate work, I couldn't see shit. I literally couldn't see shit. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's a solid 5 or 6. Not that mechanically it's so hard to wrap your mind around it. It's just that you're dealing with small parts that are also on, a lot of them on the spring tension. And apparently this is my first time taking apart a Sig like that. Everything in a Sig appears to be connected in pieces. You can't just attack one part like a Glock. You have to take apart something entirely on the other side of the firearm to deal with something over here. I went with the trigger spring that came with the flat trigger. I went with that. It appears to be the same. As far as, flat trigger, does it give me leverage? I don't know. It just, for me, for my hands, again, it's a small gun and a big hand. For my hands, I like flat triggers on these guns. And I think I might have mentioned in that intro that I filmed, God knows when, that the one thing I may have missed about the Shield when I got rid of it was I had the Apex trigger installed and it had a flat trigger. And although out of the box, I thought this was as good a trigger as the Apex, the round trigger just has a whole different feel for me. The flat trigger, I happen to like it. Yeah, it's a good feel. It seems to be functioning. I just finished installing it, so I haven't shot it yet. So, for all of you who are so concerned about my safety, don't worry. I'm not going to carry this again until I can actually get it to the range and put, a box of ammo through it. Okay, I'll be carrying my 360 at work and in my off-duty life until I can get this to the range, probably tomorrow, to make sure this thing works. But it seems to work. Function-wise, it works. An interesting part you noticed was, we could not notice, the pin, the hinge pin for the trigger that came with that kit. I don't know what that was about. I mean, I did it every which way, and I don't know. So I'm thinking maybe I didn't have the holes lined up. Just for the hell of it, I took the pin that was in there already. It thing pretty much, I could have dropped it from here. The thing pretty much dropped in. So maybe they're just sending parts for various guns. Maybe that's meant to go on a few different models of SIGs. I don't know. But that pin just did not fit in this hole, whereas I went with the original pin that came with it. But I used their spring because why not? It appears to be, there's nothing sticking out, nothing protruding. It's not scratched my magazine. So, I'll run with that spring until otherwise noted. Other than that, everything seems to work. Slide release still releases the slide. Yeah, lock it back. Takedown lever, okay. No worries. I got to rotate it forward again, or up and forward. That didn't change. Comes on, lock it back. Yeah, good gun. Maybe I'll run footage at the range when I test it, but I guess, like I said, with this gun, I always try to run footage because, in case the whole thing falls apart, I want to have it on video. But I don't think it is. I think this bad boy is going to be good for the long haul. Even though it's all scuffed up at the top on the hood of the barrel, that on the chamber, that's okay. So there you go. Flat trigger install on a Sig P365. Looks good, feels good. It's a factory part, so obviously it matches perfectly. The gun, makes a good gun even better as long as it works. Makes a good gun even better. Okay, that's it for now. I missed Christmas. Merry Christmas to everybody. I got food poisoning for Christmas, so, I had a good holiday. My next video, I don't know, I got a couple of things working. I actually kind of a silly novelty thing working. I think you'll get a kick out of it, especially if you're fans of Glock 19s. But until then, thanks for watching. Thanks for the subscriptions. I'm still amazed that people subscribe to this channel. Sorry about the damn dog barking while I was doing it, but he always wants his credit, because he's the producer of these videos, so he wants to let you know he's here. No, he's not going to come on camera. Okay, that's enough rambling. Thanks for watching. Till next time.